You already know why you're here. You're still thinking about them. Maybe it's been weeks, maybe it's been longer than you want to admit. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this voice that keeps saying, why aren't you over this yet? You should be over this. It wasn't even that serious. Other people have been through worse. So why can't you stop? Here's what nobody is telling you. The fact that you're not over it isn't the problem. It might just be the most honest thing about you right now. But before I get into that, I need to say something first because I think you came here believing something about yourself that isn't true. I used to think that not being able to move on meant something was wrong with me, that I was too sensitive, too attached, too much. I wasn't, and neither are you. The people who tell you just to move on, they're not stronger than you. They're just better at pretending. There's a difference between being over something and having learned to live around it. Most people who look healed have just gotten very good at the second one. And here's the part that nobody says out loud. Sometimes the reason you can't move on isn't because you're weak, it's because what you lost was actually real. So let's talk about what's actually happening because I think if you understood it, really understood it, you'd stop being so hard on yourself. Here's what I think is going on. You're not still thinking about them because you're weak. You're thinking about them because your nervous system hasn't finished processing something real. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a relationship that ended and a threat that's still present, and it keeps returning to the thing that trying to find the resolution that never came. That's not a character flaw, that's biology. Not being over it means you were genuinely into it. It means you weren't performing, it means it meant something. The people who are over things in 2 weeks, sometimes they were never really there to begin with. But here's what I really want you to sit with because this is the part that I think is going to change something for you. We've been asking the wrong question this whole time. It's not why aren't you over it? The real question is what are you actually grieving? Because sometimes you're not grieving the person. You're grieving the version of yourself that existed when you were with them. You're grieving the future you had already built in your head. You're grieving the feeling of being chosen, of mattering to someone that specifically. And that kind of grief, nobody validates. Nobody sends you flowers for it. Nobody asks you how you're doing 3 months later. Nobody understands why a song in a coffee shop can still undo you. But it's real and it deserves to be treated like it's real. And there's something else underneath all of this, something I think you haven't even fully let yourself look at yet. Because the obsessive thoughts, the replaying, the checking, the what ifs, they're not random. They're trying to tell you something. When your mind keeps returning to the same person, keeps replaying the same conversations, keeps asking what you could have done differently, it's not weakness. It's an unanswered question that your brain refuses to file away. And the question is usually something like, was I enough? That's the one underneath all of it. Not why did they leave, not will they come back. Was I enough? And here's the thing about that question. You will not find the answer in them. You never could have. Not from someone who left, not from someone who never fully showed up, not from someone who couldn't see you clearly enough to stay. The answer to that question lives inside you, and you've been looking for it in the wrong place. And that's where I want to leave you, not with a 5-step plan, but with something true. You're not broken because you still feel this. You're not weak because you can't just switch off. You love something real, or you wanted something real, and part of you is still standing in that place where it was because you haven't been given permission to leave yet. So here it is. You're allowed to not be over it. You're allowed to still feel this. You're allowed to grieve something that nobody else thought was worth grieving. That's not that's not weakness. That's what it looks like to have actually felt something. And not everyone gets that. Some people go their whole lives without it.